training, but just kind of take you through a few examples of some of my clients, what they went through over the last 3 weeks with the hurricane, and how they were able to use social media to really service their clients and certainly, keep things under control during a tough time. So as many of you know, I'm from New Jersey. I do have quite a few clients up and down the coast: New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, Connecticut. Those are really the main affected areas. And I did actually have, unfortunately, 3 clients who lost their office. And what that means is unfortunately their office was destroyed during the storm. Unfortunately, well, let's put it one way. I talk to a lot of agencies all the time, and I'm a big proponent of using carrier technology. What does that mean? Specifically for personal insurance, the home and the auto, a lot of the carriers now offer the technology on their own websites for your clients to go file a claim, make a payment, and whatnot. And usually it's a two-way street when I talk to agencies about it. Some will say, yes, Ken, we should put that on our website so the consumer can, certainly file a claim or make a payment right from our website. And then the other 50% will say, you know what, we really focus on being hands-on when it comes to service. And, we would rather the consumer call us, tell us their claim, we'll handle everything for them. So, I've often thought about what the right answer is, and there isn't a right answer. It really comes down to how you guys want to do business. But during this specific situation, obviously these agencies didn't have power, they didn't have phones, they didn't have internet, and they didn't even have an office. Now, the one thing they did have was a website. And specifically a few of these agencies, well, the 2 I'm talking about, absolutely had a customer service center built into their website where the client could go and certainly, file a claim right off the site. So what I want to talk about today is just a few examples of how these agencies were able to run their businesses in the worst possible scenario. And, anyone on this call who, sells personalized insurance like the homeowners, like the auto insurance, unfortunately when a natural disaster occurs, you guys are going to get busy because that's when the claims come in and that's when your clients really need you, and that's when you can really shine and get referrals. And, what happened specifically in southern New Jersey, northern Maryland, was the consumer themselves, your clients, they didn't have power, they didn't have technology. So what was left? What was left was a lot of people sitting in the dark of their houses playing on their iPhones. Right? I mean, think about it. When the power goes out and you get kind of bored, what do? Well, you light the candles. Maybe you try to read a book for a little bit. But, now in 2012, so many people have these handheld phones that have internet that are capable of doing a lot of things. I found, because I was certainly on social media myself trying to monitor what was going on with the storm, I found that the traffic quadrupled during that period, that people were constantly on social media, posting pictures of the damage in their area, and really communicating on Facebook with their handheld devices. So I guess this is my point, guys. My point is that as we move forward here into 2013, I'm going to highly suggest that everyone on this call really consider reaching out to their current clients, okay? And reaching out to them and saying, hey, we would like you to connect. We would like to connect with you on Facebook for one reason and one reason only, to use it as a communication tool, to keep you up to date in situations that could affect, the property you have insured. And what you see on the screen right now is kind of just a little sample email that everyone on this call can use if they'd like, that they can send out to their clients. And I guess the reason I'm emphasizing clients is I find a lot of agencies early on get very excited about social media to get new clients. That's what they're after. Hey, I'm going to use Facebook and I'm going to get all these leads. But on the flip side, you should still consider it as a great tool to influence your current clients and to be able to communicate with them and to give them the proper service they need. So what I suggest in front of you here is to maybe write up something very similar to this email. You know, feel free to mention the hurricane, even if you're in Seattle or if you're in Los Angeles. Trust me, people around the country they've been watching what's going on. It's fresh in their mind, and you know, leading off with that mention in the first paragraph or the first sentence is going to get you people reading your email. And I think if you mention it and kind of phrase it the way I have it, you're going to get a lot of your clients connecting with you on social media. And what that's going to allow you to do, like I said, is one, influence them, but two, now you've created an emergency system where you can communicate to these people, you know, from your house in the dark, you know, in the dark of your house from your little iPhone. And that's the beauty of it. So let me kind of take you through one of my clients here. I'll show you what he's done. Now, this is a very savvy kind of entrepreneur. The gentleman's name is Aaron Levine, and you know, he's down in South Jersey. And you know, maybe you guys kind of, after this webinar, take a look at what he does. If you just go to facebook.com/the Aaron Levine, just scroll down, and you'll see that this guy is unfortunately, his office was heavily damaged. Everywhere in his area was heavily damaged. But he's using social media to bring his town together, to communicate what's going on in the region with claims, with the insurance companies. You know, you'll see that he was at an adjusters meeting talking about the peer that he insures. You know, and just constantly using social media to keep everybody in the area what's going on. You know, obviously you'll see every day he's throwing, does anyone have any insurance questions? And he's just answering them for everybody. And, you know, I guess my point is unfortunately this hurricane was incredibly damaging. And unfortunately there's going to be a lot of homeowners and commercial claims. But on the flip side, as an insurance agent, I hate to say it, these can be great times because it gets people thinking. It gets them listening to you. And, you know, a guy like this guy, Aaron, is getting more referrals than you can ever imagine. He's getting referrals because he is offering great customer service. He's out there. He's talking to people. He's showing people that he can help them in their time. And, you know, I guess my point is that's only happening because he spent the time on social media growing his distribution list, having a plan, and obviously he was ready when the time came to keep people communicated to and obviously to offer them solutions to their insurance problems. I mean, it's that simple. So, guys, I know I'm kind of rambling on here, but I think my point today was that specifically Facebook can be an incredible communication tool. And yes, I know, you know, there's that old school thinking that people can come visit us, people can call us, but what happens if that is eliminated? You know, and you know, you never say never, but you know, unfortunately, it's been happening more than not recently in this country. It seems like. Why not prepare yourself so that if it does happen, you're not going to lose clients. You may gain clients because you're going to shine and be ahead of the curve when it comes to communicating to people what they need to do. So what I suggest is if this sounded good and interesting, I really suggest everyone comes on next week to my Facebook beginner webinar. I'm going to kind of take it from the beginning again, go through the little things your agency needs to be doing to obviously be at the forefront of this and to build. And then the following week, we'll take it to the next level and get into a little bit more advanced topics. Next week, I believe it's going to be Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Of course, I record these and put them on YouTube if you can't attend live. But I think, you know, hopefully we can give you a little momentum here at the end of the year to start doing the little things to grow this distribution and to get ahead because it's getting very competitive out there with social media. So I appreciate everyone's time.